Hey everybody, how's it going? Um, I want to welcome you to a totally new topic. We're leaving completely anything dealing with electricity. So some of you are probably going, "All right, it's about time." So no more electricity stuff. So we're getting into the final two chapters that we're going to cover this term, and that is chapter 25 on waves and chapter 26 on sound. Okay. So chapter 25 on waves, I'm going to try something different. We're going to do two labs in this chapter. One of them today, and one of them either tomorrow or Friday. I haven't decided exactly which day we'll do the other lab, but so today's lab is called Pendulum Periods. There's a PDF of it attached in today's folder. So you need to open that PDF and do your pre-lab. Remember the pre-labs. It's been a little while. You have a title. You have a purpose. In this case, you're going to make a prediction or a hypothesis, and it talks about it in the outline. You have 3 data tables, but they're small. You're going to have a minimum of 1 graph, and then you're going to have a summary statement. The summary statement is new. It's different from in the lab manual. It's going to be just a summary of what you learned and how does it relate to your hypothesis or prediction. It's all talked about in the outline, so don't worry about it. So you're going to do that. Then once you have your pre-lab set on your laptop, so you're going to word process this so you can submit it. Then you are going to watch a video. I went into school a couple days ago and videotaped myself doing the lab. So there are 3 variables we're looking at, and it talks about in the video. Amplitude of the swing, the length of the pendulum string, and the mass of the pendulum. So those are the 3 variables, and you're going to make a prediction as to which of those 3 variables seems to have an effect on the period. So anything that is has harmonic motion, that's repetitive, can be measured in a number of ways, one of which is the period. Another one is the frequency and the amplitude and all that kind of stuff. But we're looking at the period. The period is a time for that pendulum to go from one side over and back. That's the period. So the time for that is what you're going to measure. I'm collecting the data. I'm standing in front of a video doing the trials, and you're going to do a handheld time of that period. Okay? I think I mentioned in the video, I would suggest letting the pendulum swing, 3, 5 times, whichever, and then time all 3 or 5 of them, and then divide by either 3 or 5, whichever you chose. Okay? Now, the reason for that, if you just did over and back and timed it, just one time, there is going to be some human error because you're human. So that human error that you are naturally going to have is going to be concentrated on just that one swing. So instead, if you did 5 swings and did the start and stop, you're still going to have the same amount of human error, but now it's going to be divided over 5 trials. So you're going to chunk up or chop up that human error piece by 5 times, and therefore there'd be 1/5 as much error. So it'd be more accurate. Okay, so that's my suggestion. Do that for each of the swings of each of the trials. You're going to make a graph or graphs. It's going to ask you, or I'm going to ask you to make a graph of the variable or variables that have an effect on the period of a pendulum. In other words, it changes the period. If I change the amplitude, how far back I'm going to start it, and if that changes the pendulum period, then you're going to graph that one. If the length of the pendulum affects how quickly it swings back and forth, you're going to graph that. If the mass of the pendulum bob affects the period of the pendulum, then you're going to graph that. So you could potentially have 3 graphs, or you could have a minimum of 1. Okay? Use Logger Pro for your graph. So I want this all on one page. This may seem like a lot, but you're going to do title, purpose, hypothesis. Those are all really short. You are going to have 3 small data tables. You'll see it in the PDF. You're going to have your graph or graphs, and then a summary statement, probably a 1 or 2 sentence summary statement. And that's it. Okay. There's some work time today, a little bit of homework, getting into the reading of the text. And so I thought you might like to try something a little different, do a little lab. That's kind of the key component, I think, of this class. So kind of hard to be missing that in this online stuff. But anyways, good luck. I'll be back with you tomorrow. And I haven't decided if we'll do a lab tomorrow or lab Friday. But there we go. Have at it.